Smallrig sent out their RC60C, a 60-watt RGB light with a built-in battery. So John and I, we took it out to some of the darkest parts of the docks for some testing. And before you guys say anything, the whole idea about this shoot was to kind of supplement the ambient lighting and allow us to place our subject more freely within the frame and add to the available light. But as you will see, the light makes a huge difference even if we only ran it, well, not even as high as 10%. So in this video we are looking at the RC60C from Smallrig. It's a 60-watt COB-light where the C stands for color. It's a full RGB light and has all the effects and all the other different things that you can think of, including green and magenta shift adjustments. Now this here is the power clamp version that comes with a few extra accessories compared to the light version. So with this version we get this little carrying case, we get a little handle if we want to go ahead and kind of Hollywood the light on location. We also get this Bowens mount reflector, which is a mini Bowens mount. By the way, we get a little spigot mount, which also has this umbrella mount on it, and two of these USB-C cables, one for charging the battery and one for continuous powering the light and that sort of stuff. Now, if you're planning on using a light like this in your studio, you could opt for the light edition and save a few bucks since you won't be getting the case, the handle, or the power bank clamp. Now, operating this light is pretty simple. We got a USB-C port here at the back. We also got an on-off switch and this little eco mode switch here that will increase the battery life. If we flip it to this side here, we have a little mode selector down here that will take us to all the different modes such as RGB, CCT, HSL, and obviously to our different lighting effects. Two knobs here, one for controlling the brightness or the output and the other one for controlling color temperatures, other settings for RGB settings, or adjusting the speed when we're using things like flashing lights and the lighting effects, that sort of stuff. So pretty easy, pretty straightforward, nothing overly complicated here. Now, these are some of the TLCI and CRI ratings supplied by Smallrig, along with some additional numbers that might be interesting to some of you. And just considering the fact that we also have this built-in battery, the size of this thing, if we remove the reflector here and just the light itself, the size and the weight of this thing here is actually pretty impressive. Now the built-in battery will give you about 45 minutes on full power, and if you engage the eco mode, you will get up to 75 minutes at almost full power. So for any shorter shoots where you're aiming to get in and out pretty quick or just grab some footage here and there, you can pretty much rely on the built-in battery for the most part. Now, out on the shoots, we ran this light at between 3 and about 7%, so we never actually felt the need to hook it up to a V-mount or use the power bank clamp, which is, in retrospect, kind of a missed opportunity to show you guys the power bank clamp in action and all that fun stuff. But I will give you some B-roll shots here from the studio to show you how it works and all that fun stuff. Now, looking back at the BTS footage that we shot here, I realized that we actually never used the smartphone app to control the light, which would have made things a whole lot easier and a lot smoother since we're kind of experimenting between CCT and RGB colors to kind of see which one would match the ambient vibe the best. Now, the Smallrig Go app is pretty straightforward and works pretty much like any lighting app that I've used. You can adjust and save settings, presets, and control several lightings on set. So I don't know, I won't show you too much of this because I think you know and will understand how everything works if you used an app like this before. Now let's circle back to our little mini shoot here at the docks where we use the RC60C more as a fill or a wrap light to match the warm sodium vapor tone here at the docks, which we actually found by accident, but we will be getting back to this location and shoot more B-roll down the road because I just love that sodium vapor look. Anyway, the idea here was to add light where we needed light and not creating something that necessarily looked lit. We wanted everything to feel more natural and more cinematic, if we can use that term for describing these shots. You can see here in this shot when we kind of feather the light in towards John just how much of a difference it actually makes. But we still have 60 watts to play around with and a whole lot of those RGB features, which actually makes this a great option for both key lighting or as a rim light or hair light, for things like interviews or for adding a splash of color. Like any light at this size or even big ones with a fan, you know this by now, you do your best not to place your key light right next to your microphone, that sort of stuff. It's been the same reality for the last 20 years or so. It's nothing new, but I will give you a quick little sample here. Actually, why don't we do this right now? So I will put this on here and I will adjust the brightness. Oh, it looks like we got a nice green hue here. So I will just wait for the fan to kick up. So it's running now, and right now we're about a foot away from the microphone, which is just here outside of frame. So this is obviously not how close you would put this to your microphone if you're recording audio, but this is about a foot. If we can lower it, so I don't know if there's like a foot and a half, almost 2 feet or something like that. It's definitely less than a meter, and if we put it back here, it's still closer to the microphone than my regular key light here in the studio, but I will keep quiet now and see if we can hear the fans. And if you're planning on using this as a key light, especially out on location, I would recommend you to pick one of these little, I think I have it, yeah, one of these tiny little miniature soft boxes as well. This one is also from Smallrig, just to make sure it fits on the little miniature bonus mount here. It's super easy to set up. You just pull out these spokes, they lock into place like so. I won't do all of them for you, but there's also a grid that comes with a softbox. And once you're done with your shoot, you got everything you need, just remove this thing here. There's, I don't know if you can see this, but there's 2 of these little clasps, handles, or whatever it is, and just push those in simultaneously and it will automatically collapse, and you can just use this little strap here to, well, wrong direction. It doesn't take too much room in your camera bag or your gear bag or whatever bag you're planning on bringing this in. The only thing that I've noticed during the time that I've actually used this light, which I have used quite a lot lately, is, well, it's not a con necessarily, but it is mildly annoying. And that's the fact that the cooling fan on this light will be running constantly as soon as you plug it into constant or external power, even when the light is turned off and not actively charging. The second thing, which isn't necessarily a con either, but just something that I believe I touched on earlier, but I just want to reiterate this information here, is the fact that all these smaller COB lights don't use a regular size bonus mount. So if you want to be able to use your regular modifiers, snoots, that sort of stuff, you will need to get a bonus mount adapter. If we look at pros, I would say that it's a well-built light that's super versatile and will allow you to add more interesting types of light or pockets of light in your studio settings or out on location, that sort of stuff. The dimming curve has also been surprisingly well functioning. So I've been enjoying using this light. I've put it in a lot of places. I've put it through its paces. I even set it up a couple of nights ago and kept it on for my wife or my spouse actually when she was painting. But let me know your thoughts about this type of light. Is it something that you would be interested in, and what would you use it for? Would you using it in a studio setting like this for some color contrast background, that sort of stuff, or would you be bringing it out on set to create cinematic lit scenes, that sort of stuff? Let me know in the comment section what you think about this light and if it would be something for you. And I will put links to everything down below in the comment section, to both the power clamp version and the light version, the bonus mount adapter and the modifier and all that fun stuff, in case you want to be able to look at the pricing and more specs, and obviously by supporting this channel if you're thinking about picking one of these up. So that'll be it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!